Chapter 46. Gloria, Gus, and Mary and I had a wonderful dinner and went back to my condo. I had 2 big bedrooms with a sleep sofa in the living room, and I slept there, giving my guests the 2 bedrooms. Saturday's game was a 2 o'clock start, so we could have breakfast before I left to the ballpark at 10 a.m. Gloria called her mom and told her the news of our engagement. Gloria and her mom thought about a wedding date and both decided that if I didn't mind, we saw no reason to wait very long unless I wanted to wait until the season was over. We would talk about it tomorrow. It might be difficult since there were not many days off the rest of the season. They even thought about a double wedding with Becky Lawler and Dave Bolton in October. Back in Chicago, the liberal press was all over the Metro Police about the execution of Motown Matthews and his thugs. The community as a whole was not upset at all, much to their surprise. It seemed like every letter to the editor was letting the people at the newspaper have it. It seemed that the press was less concerned about the real innocent 28 victims than they were about the real hoodlums. There was a rash of talk shows and Sunday morning community programs centered around the whole ordeal. It became clear that the community had no sympathy for Motown or his men, period. They felt that justice was served. It certainly didn't bother Mookie and Marvin. They called Sergeant Jenkins and asked if he wanted them to do anything else. He told them not at the moment, but that he would appreciate seeing them in about once a month, just to keep in touch about what was going on down in the neighborhood. They appreciated that he cared enough to do that for them. He said that he would constantly have patrol cars around their area for a long time to come. All Mookie wanted was a safe place for Dwight to grow up and be able to safely ride his bike, and Sergeant Jenkins had given his son. They had also liked the idea of the basketball league being cleaned up, and they felt with Motown gone, so would the drug deals and the pimping. They just had to keep an eye out for someone trying to take over the turf. The Yankees continue to breeze through the league. My record moved to 12-3, and Jack's 11-2. Tavin continued his assault with 8 more homers and 23 RBIs for the month. I continued to hit over 300, adding another 6 homers myself. We on the Yanks, we went into the last week of the season tied with the Orioles for first place. The third place team was 9 games out, so they were done. It was going to be between the Orioles and us for the AL East crown. The city in Connecticut was buzzing also that the Monarchs had clinched their pennant over the weekend. They had a 12-game lead and continued to be the class of the league, in spite of losing 3 of their best players. Mann did a good job of keeping the team focused and helping the players fit in just right. For the New York club to be in it with 3 games to go against the Orioles meant that we were going to determine our own destiny. It was going to come down to head-to-head play for sure. We had swept the 3 games with the Brewers, while the Orioles took only 2 out of 3 from the Indians, and that made it all tied up. I was going to start Friday night's contest, the first game with the Orioles at 7 p.m. Jack was moved back to Sunday in case that proved to be a critical game. Red thought he might be able to use an extra day off, as he seemed to be getting a little bit tired, having lost about 3 or 4 miles an hour off his fastball in the last week. It had been a long, emotionally draining season for all of us. An extra day for anybody wouldn't hurt. I breathed through the Orioles for 4 innings, not giving up a hit. In the top of the 5th, Chris Hoyles, the Oriole catcher, took me deep to left, giving the Orioles a 1-0 lead. In the Yankee half of the 5th, I led off the inning with a sharp single to center, and Tavy took a full count, but fouled out to third. Ruben Sierra made up for it with a triple to left center, with me scoring and tying up the game. Yankee catcher Mike Stanley took care of the rest with a towering home run into the monuments on the first pitch he saw, giving us a 3-1 lead and all the runs I would need for the night. I pitched strong into the 8th inning, giving up only 4 hits, striking out 7 and walking only 1. Hack Johnson closed out the 9th for his 32nd save. The Yankees clubhouse was ecstatic with our 2-game lead. If we won again tomorrow, would make us invincible. But the Yankees would have a say in that as well. We Yanks came out bombing with 4 runs in the first inning and climbed out to a 6-0 lead. All Scott Kamenicki had to do was keep the ball in the ballpark, which he did. The final score was the Yanks 8, your Orioles 2, and it was over. We had a 2-game lead over the Orioles. There was no way they could pass us. The Yanks had come back from being 11 games out, and Reg Dodd and the new Monarch players did it. We played not only like we belonged here, but like true champions. Our workmanlike attitude rubbed off on the older players, and Red did a wonderful job with the older players and by not showing any favoritism to any of his own boys. The team respected that. Red was given a contract extension of 2 years by the boss, which of course he accepted, under the condition that Gus Lawler could join him in some capacity if Gus wanted to, and the boss agreed. George offered Jack and John a very nice bonus with their 2-year contract offers. Jack and John signed immediately. I was already signed for another 2 more years, which was part of my huge bonus package. Gloria and I, after talking to Becky and Dave, decided to have a double ceremony back in Meriden after the season was over. We 2 couples had grown so close, it just seemed like the natural thing to do. It would give us more time to plan our honeymoon, which would not take place until after the season was over. We told Dave and Becky we wanted them to come with us. Gloria and I wanted some real time alone, but they may not see much of us if they came with us. We lost in the playoffs to Oakland in a tough 7-game series. Both Jack and I won 1-0 games, and then I win 5-1 and Jack gets a no decision. But it was still a great season and gave the Yanks great hope for the future. The Yanks bullpen let us down in 3 of the losses. There would be some changes made there in the offseason, for sure.